Oh, I tell you what, I had a terrible dream last night that, it's funny. We were in the Spanish Cup semi-final and I messed up the penalty taking order because the game was a bit broken when he set it up. It's such a terrible dream. I can't wait to play Getafe today though in the, hang on, Barcelona. Oh God. It was real. Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 3. Hope you're all doing well today. Looking forward to today's episode and I hope you're over yesterday's calamity from... I'm not over it, but by looks of things in the comment section, a few of you have the same issue as me in the past, so I'm not alone on it at least, which is rather comforting. Anyway, today we're going to finish off Season 10 of the Lincoln Loco, the season that promised so much. We could have got to a cup final. If we'd won that cup final against Valencia, we could have gone on to get a place in Europe. It would have been fantastic, but alas, it's not to be. For those of you out there wondering, Valencia ended up winning the cup. They beat Getafe in the final, so that's fantastic. Getafe lose the final and they're going to get relegated, so I'm very happy. Before we jump into today's episode, a few little things to talk about quickly. One, we have a very long term to one of our favourite players, E07. In training one day, he damaged his spine. He's out for 6 months, so don't expect to see him in today's episode, and maybe don't even expect to see him at the start of next season. That's how long this injury could be, so it's very sad. We wish you a speedy recovery, E07, and hopefully your spine gets fixed by the specialist at some point soon. We also had the youth intake come through. It wasn't very good, unfortunately. As you can see, one player with 4-star, 3 players with 3.5 stars, and then everyone else is a little bit rubbish. It's not the best we've ever had. Remember, we are in La Liga, so potentially if that player reaches that 4-star potential, he could be a very, very decent La Liga player. So there's things to be happy with, but it could have been better, particularly when we got told it was going to be a golden generation. And it's also finally happened. Today we're going to see our first game in the newly refurbished One Football Arena. As you can see, the stadium has been expanded by 6,214 seats, so it can now accommodate a total of 15,000 supporters. Of course, the One Football Arena, named after the One Football app, the best football app out there for you to keep up to date with all the live scores from around the world across literally every single league you want to know about. You can get push notifications sent straight through to your phone from your favourite teams to update you on goals and information like that. You can see all the latest news from around the world and all the big stories in football from a variety of different sources. For me, it's the first place I go to now for football information and news, so hopefully you guys do as well. It would massively help me out if you download it from the top line of the description for absolutely free, so please do it. Now, at the very end of last episode, I promised you that we weren't going to lose a single game in between episodes. Turns out I was lying because we did lose some games in between episodes. Actually, in between episodes, it's not been brilliant for the most part. We've drawn lots and lost a few games as well. The first game we played since you guys were last here was this 1-0 win against Villarreal. Sione getting himself on the score sheet. And then I thought, well, at this point, we weren't really going to move up the table. There was a big gap between us and the teams ahead of us. There was quite a big gap between us and most of the teams below us. So I've kind of decided that it's time to experiment with lineups and with player roles and things like that. So I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. But as you can see, it's had a bit of a negative effect on our results. A 4-2 loss to Real Sporting Gijón was not great as David Perez scores the 2 goals for us there. We did beat bottom of the table Granada 1-0 with Andrei Stransky getting the only goal of that game. But then it runs into 5 games without a win, which isn't great. Although a lot of them are draws, so we are picking up points at least. Unfortunately, Getafe is one of those games we drew 2-2. Very lucky to draw 2-2 in that game after going 2-0 down at half-time. 2-2 against Huesca, Martin Ramos and David Perez on the score sheet that time, getting themselves some extra goals this season. Kenneth Gisk picked up another goal in a 1-1 draw against Seville, but we did end up losing to Real Sociedad. Alex from Iceland scored a goal for us against Real Sociedad, but unfortunately Real Sociedad scored 2 goals, so they beat us 2-1. And then last time out, Federico Sione got himself back on the score sheet in a 1-1 draw against Valencia. Today is going to be tough. We've got Barcelona, Real Madrid and Levante coming up. Hopefully we can get at least one win out of those games. If we win one of those games, we will match... If we end up winning one of those games, we end up matching the points total that we got last season. We're currently sitting in 12th place on 43 points. We can't go any lower than 13th. We can't go any higher than 10th by the look of things. So we're pretty much stuck in a sort of mid-table position, which is fantastic. It's where we wanted to be. But really, there's not been any progress since the last season in the league, which is slightly concerning. David Perez is still right up there on 13 assists. Hopefully he can finish the season as the league's top assister. I want to get him back on loan next season. He's going to be my priority to get back on loan next season. But everywhere else, we need to buy players to strengthen. We'll talk more about that later on. So this is the team heading into today's game. I've been rotating lineups a little bit, trying to see how players perform in different roles as well. And I've changed the role of the left wing. It's now an inside forward because we had been playing, where is he, Joe McLean as an inside forward. And he has played very well all season. A 7.4 across every game is fantastic. However, he isn't as effective as he was the previous season. I know he's not played as many games because of injuries, but at the same time, you know, on the laws of average, he's not doing as well as he did last season as well. So for me, Joe McLean, just not the best. You'll also see Man United in the Netherlands. For those of you who watched this for a long time, you'll remember that I accidentally managed to mess things up. I included some editor database files which moved some Premier League clubs to the Netherlands and some Dutch clubs to the Premier League, which was very stupid. But a few people in the comment section recently have said to me, "Oh Tom, how are the Netherlands doing so well? Why is the Eredivisie such a great league?" It's because the Eredivisie is filled with Man United, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, always good Premier League club, basically. So although it's not loaded into the game, we can't say anything about it. No, it's doing very, very well because it's got some of the best teams in the world playing in it now. Anyway, moving some players around and some roles around hasn't really helped out massively with results. I didn't think it would do, obviously. It's trying to experiment and seeing what works and what doesn't work. But because I'm expecting things to happen instantly, it's not happening instantly because that's not how Football Manager works. So we're going to stick with the attacking playmaker as opposed to a deep line playmaker. We're going to stick with the inside forward as opposed to the winger and see how it works. Dikene starts in goal today with a backline of Stransky, Izquierdo, Hannesson and Galina. Pascal Sanchez and Roy Ariel start in the centre of midfield, but Alex from Iceland starts on the left, Perez starts on the right and Sione back up front. I keep rotating him and Gisk around to try and get them both to 20 goals. Unfortunately, I don't think either of them will get 20 goals this season, but they're going to get close, which is very good. Anyway, the first game coming up is against Barcelona. We are at home, and this is the first glimpse we're going to get at our new expanded One Football Arena stadium, which is very exciting. No one expects to get a result today, so go out there and play your normal football. Wow, look at this. Look at this masterpiece of a new stadium. Well, expanded stadium. It's a lot bigger. It looks a lot less tin pot as well. I'm a big fan. So first things first, when we get onto a highlight, I'm going to be zooming out and having a good look at this. I mean, I can zoom out now in preparation. You can kind of see behind all this grey stuff. Here we go. Look at this. Wow. I mean, it doesn't look like it's gone from 8,000 to 15,000. In fact, that's actually double nearly, isn't it? It's nearly double the stadium. 8,000 to 15,000. I can see why it has had such a big increase. I thought they might fill the corners out as opposed to change the actual stands, but I'm a big fan of it actually because the old stadium did look a bit tin pot, especially with all the bollards that were like supporting the roof. They've now got cantilever roofs, which is fantastic. Galina's got an injury, that's not good. Admir Veroni will come on for him instead. But half an hour into this game, they are impressing in this new stadium, and we could, it looks very, very full. Very full. And what this means is we might be looking at a new stadium record or attendance record. Oh my goodness, we've come so close to scoring there. I think the shot saved by the keeper, pushed onto the crossbar. Very unfortunate for Sione there. We seem to always play well against Barcelona on camera. We are outperforming them in this first half in terms of shots, and that is absolutely fantastic. I'm happy with the performance so far. Keep it up out there, and hopefully we can go on for the rest of this game and win. Although, judging by our recent form, I imagine it's going to be a draw. We seem to draw every single game we play at the moment. So, a draw will be fine, because if we get 3 draws today, we finish on the same points as we did last season. So that's a positive to an extent. By the looks of things, Stransky and Sanchez are both looking a bit tired / injured. So Sanchez will come off for Kamara. And who did one? Stransky. I have to swap with Izquierdo, and he'll come off for Barrejo at the back. Right. There are all the changes that we've made, and we are 71 minutes into this game, drawing with Barcelona, who are having a terrible season. And by terrible season, I mean they're 4th right now, so they're having a good season. They're still in the Champions League places, but normally they're fighting for the title, and they're not going to concede a goal there, because that was a terrible shot from Iceland Alex. But I do like the idea of having an inside forward. We've got one striker, and I feel like we need a bit more support to the striker, so maybe having that inside forward for next season might give some more support to our strikers, which would be quite decent. In the meantime, Barcelona looking to come forward. It's their first highlight I think we've seen from them all game. As Haaland scores, he's offside there. He's actually offside there. He was offside there. Ref? Referee. He was well offside. I mean, we can't see it from this angle. I'm sure they'll show us an offside angle in a second. I'm sure they will. I mean, we can't change it now. It has been given. The goal has been given. Where was the offside? You can't actually see the players, but they are literally... Okay. You hate to see it. I mean, what we can take some solace from is the fact that we've had 12 shots to Barcelona's 9 shots. I mean, we've somehow played better than Barca here, and yet we've been FM'd by Barca. That's what this result is. But overall, that was actually a very pleasing result, I must say. I mean, pleasing performance, not result. We lost, didn't we? But I mean, it was a pleasing performance because we played very well. Galina, that's him out for the rest of the season then, out for 3 to 6 weeks with a twisted ankle. Sanchez out for a couple of days as well. The fans are criticising me because I'm not changing my formation. You know I'm not changing that formation. It's staying the same, lads. It's never changing. It might do, actually, because next season we do need to think about getting the most out of all of our players. You see, one of the biggest issues that we've had this season is that our centre mids have all been atrocious, and that is in terms of their average ratings. If we look at the team, right, Sanchez, this season is 6.6, Roy Ariel a 6.6 this season. Everyone else has been playing a lot better. Ramis a 6.7, although recent performances have been a 6.5. If we look down to Jamie Grau a 6.6, Gostas a 6.5. If we looked at... I mean, basically, the point is, our midfielders haven't played well this season. Now, that could be a combination of our midfielders just being not very good players in the first place, but I think more likely it might be to do with the tactics, the formation and the roles, maybe not getting the best out of those players. So I think for next season, we need to tweak it a little bit to get more out of our centre mids. What it also means, though, is that we need to put a big priority on signing centre mids and maybe even a CDM this summer. We have to put all our efforts into signing some very good centre mids. If we get Perez back on loan next season, I'm very happy with the front three and the options that we've got there. The back line could be strengthened a little bit potentially at the wing-back roles because Galina goes back on loan and then Stransky's like the only sort of left-back we've properly got. So we could probably do with wing-backs and centre mids over summer. That's what we need to focus on. Speaking of wing-backs, Galina obviously out for the rest of the season with his injury, so Veroni will come on and then we'll just bring Gostas onto the bench. Other than that, I don't want to change the lineup, so let's submit the team. Yes, let's submit the team and play against Real Madrid. This time we are away from home against Real Madrid, which is not much fun because that does probably mean they're going to batter us completely. But if we do play like we did against Barcelona, and we are doing right now, 10 minutes in, one shot to Real Madrid now, but it was 1-0 on shots for the first 10-12 minutes of the game, so we held our own for a little while against Real Madrid, but nothing's really happening. I mean, we're still holding Real Madrid comfortably. It's 2 shots apiece. This is what I mean, like... Sometimes we can play brilliantly, and I feel like these 2 games so far, the Barcelona game, we played brilliantly to only concede 1 goal very late on, and actually we outplayed them for most of the game by looking at the match stats. This Real Madrid game, for example, we seem to be containing Real Madrid at home. We were containing Real Madrid at home for 30 minutes. I just think we need a stronger midfield. A stronger midfield would probably solve a lot of our issues, maybe. Because I do think that back line is... It could, I mean, obviously every position that we've got could do with strengthening, all right? You know, every position could do with a better player. But I think where we're going to get most out of this is by buying the centre mids. Basically, until we are winning comfortably La Liga, every position could do with strengthening. That's the whole philosophy, obviously, but for me, the weakest point right now is centre mid. Heading into half-time, though, we are only 1-0 down to Real Madrid, so I feel like we've been unlucky so far. I feel like we can do a bit better. Let's put a good performance out in the second half and... try and pick up a point at least. That would be quite nice. Pick up a point here and then beat Levante. We'll beat last season's points total by a single point and that would be fantastic. I'm sure, though, Real Madrid have other ideas as they nearly go 2-0 up, but another great save from Dekene. One thing that I do have a little bit of regret about, although not huge amounts, it's a bit difficult to know. Now, Dekene's been a superb keeper and understandably our number 1. However, because he's been our number 1 constantly, it does mean that we have left Marti Gonzalez on the bench and the reserves for a long, long time now, and I don't think he's ever going to realise his potential, and I think his potential probably was going to be better than Dekene's current ability, and I feel like we may have wasted Gonzalez a little bit. So there are small regrets about that. However, Dekene's been I mean, literally, as I'm praising him, he concedes a goal which he should have saved, really. But he has been fantastic for the past few years. He's conceded 2 goals today, and yet is still on a 7.4 rating. It shows how good he is at shot stopping. Clock is ticking down though, with 10 minutes or so to go. Alex on my left wing is on a 5.8 rating. I wonder what he's done to play that badly. We've got a week off before the next game. I have forgot to make substitutes, but we've got a week off till the next game, so I don't really mind too much as Stransky looks to put the ball in the middle. Perez at the far post gets a consolation goal, his 15th of the season. You love to see it. It's a little too late. I shouldn't have said little twice there, should I? I've messed things up again. Too little, too late. That's the phrase. Not a little, too late. It's just too little, too late. So how does that affect the league table then heading into the final game of the season? It surely should come up in a second to let us know that information. Will it? Come on. Apparently it's not. Okay, let's look at the league table here then. So we sit 12th still on 43 points. There's no way Sociedad overtake us, because I think we've got a better head-to-head record against them anyway. So I think we stay 12th. We can't go. We're literally 12th this season. We are literally 12th. You love to see Getafe being relegated as well. The big R next to their name, so that's fantastic. Good to see Getafe go down. In terms of a title battle, well, Real Madrid won it a long time ago. Barcelona have fought themselves back into second in the table. However, they could drop down to 5th if they lose their final game of the season and everyone else wins, providing the head-to-head records are in the other team's favour. It would be quite nice, actually, to see Barcelona drop down. That would be quite good. Real Valladolid, by the way, in 6th. Now, they got promoted alongside us. The same season we got promoted, Valladolid got promoted. So if they can get into 6th place within 2 seasons, we should be able to do it in the next couple of seasons at least, you'd imagine. Big up Valladolid. That is very impressive, actually. Very impressed with them. Well done, lads. For the final game of the season, Andre Shittigel, you can pick the team for the final day of the season. He's gone for this. He's put Gisk on the wing. What is that about? Why are you putting Gisk on the wing? I mean, he's got some questionable choices here. Ramis in centre defence. I've told Andre he can do it. Andre, it's all yours. You can control this, but quite frankly, mate, I do not agree with that lineup. Now that I've said that, you can absolutely guarantee we're going to win this game 5-0 now. So, Andre, this is all up to you. You've picked the team. I'm going to sit back and relax, and, well, you can't do anything, can you? I've got to make the subs still because you are inept at everything, apparently. So we're going to watch this. I'll make the subs and things like that, but he's picked the lineup, and hopefully it's going to be a good lineup. However, Levante coming forward in the first 5 minutes and scoring suggests that I am the superior manager. You know, my lineups held out against Real Madrid and Barcelona for a lot longer than your lineup did against Levante. I'll be honest, the end of the season actually has been pretty miserable. This will mean 8 games. If we lose this or don't win, it'll be 8 games in a row without winning, which is very, very poor. That is relegation form. So it's a good job we did the business in the early stages of the season. I think we've just run out of steam towards the end of the season, basically. We've run out of steam. We're tired. We need a long break over summer to recoup and recover. And I think that's what's needed. We need to sign some new players, and we need to, most importantly, probably get David Perez back on loan. For me, over the past 2 years, David Perez has just been probably, overall in the past 2 seasons, the best player we've had. I think you could argue Kenneth Gisk might be slightly more influential, but this season he has been injured a fair bit and has been out of form. David Perez is always in form. He's leading the league in assists right now as well. So for me, David Perez, we've got to get him back. Probably on loan. I'd like to sign him permanently, but I don't think he'll want to leave Bayern Munich for us permanently when he wants to get a place in the Bayern Munich squad. But I think he should be happy to come back on loan to us. And in fact, I think I'm going to try and make an offer after this game is finished, if the game lets me make an offer for next season already. It might not, I don't know, basically. But in the meantime, Levante coming forward, Dekene with a good save. Now, there is a school of thought where next season we try and play a 4-4-2 formation to try and get the best out of both Gisk and Sione. They've both got between them, it must be close to 35 goals this season between the two of them, which is absolutely phenomenal. But obviously they're strikers. We play with a one-striker system. They don't play together, basically. If we play them together, we could be looking to get more goals between them. So there is the option to maybe look to play a 4-4-2 next season, which, I'll be honest, does appeal to me. However, I feel that that does mean that we can't play wingers as so much, as in like the advanced wingers that we normally have, the Perez in the attacking midfield winger and Alex or Joe McLean or someone else on the other side of the pitch. I don't think we're good enough to have that many men committed to attacking. and not that many men committed to defence. I feel like we need that CDM in there still. I feel like, I mean, he's not playing right now, but it's usually Pascal. I think Pascal is very instrumental into holding the defence comfortably for us. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? That's a shame. Can we get another one back, though? I can't believe that. Oh, we can. We can. David Perez. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. 16th goal of the season. That genuinely might make him a top scorer for the club again this season. He was definitely top scorer last season. This year, he might just be... I think Gisk might have 17. I think. So he'll be joint second with Sione, maybe, or just ahead of Sione. One of those two. But again, it's too little, too late in this game, as we're set to lose another one, which is not very good. But obviously, we're staying 12th in the table. We actually finish with 3 fewer points than we did last season, which is very concerning. You expect to get better and better each season. We've had a slight bit of regression this season, but last year we finished off the season in absolutely sublime form. This year it's been slightly different. If we just got one more win, you know, it would be much better. Convert one of those draws to a win, or 2 of those draws to a win instead, and we're better off than we were last season. But it's the way football is sometimes. So despite the fact I think, did we finish 11th or 13th last season? It wasn't 12th. It was either 11th or 13th last season. So we may have finished 1 place higher or 1 place lower. I can't remember. But we've fundamentally not done as well in the points. So for me, I'm not 100% happy with that, as Joe McLean on the ball gets another one. You love... Oh, it's offside. You hate to see it. Will there be one final chance, though, for us to get a draw out of this game? There is. It's Sione's shot from distance, but it's not a particularly good shot, and that is probably going to be that. 3 defeats today is not ideal at all. Maybe the formation needs to change next season. Maybe we've sort of come to the end of a lifespan of, if I can find the formation, we've come to the end of a lifespan of this shape. Maybe we need to just do something different for a season. The fans are criticising me for the tactic as well now, so maybe this is a signal to move on, particularly look at that. Yeah, it's not nice to see. David Perez, where are you? Can we make a bid for you for next season, please? Make a loan offer, but they're happy to let us have him. So bid for Perez made. That is fantastic. There's not going to be an episode tomorrow. I don't think I've got time to get everything recorded and edited and rendered out in time for 8 o'clock tomorrow for a transfer special. So transfer special will be out on Monday instead. And that gives us a nice week to work towards for the next season. So this season we came 12th with 43 points. Last season it was 13th but with 46 points. So 1 place higher but 3 points less. We've basically stayed the same, really. So despite all the additions that we brought in this year, nothing's really changed. Next year, though, we're going to make a big difference for the team. Next year, I'm expecting big changes to the midfield especially. Midfield especially. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very exciting. So I will see you guys on Monday for the transfer special. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.